Alright mate, Slamade here, and there's been something that I've been wondering for a while now. Is Lt. Surge from the Pokémon series actually inspired by Guile from Street Fighter? Now this comparison doesn't really come out of thin air. If you put Lt. Surge's Heart Gold and Soul Silver design next to Guile, you'll notice a lot of similarities. Both of them wear some kind of green top, both of them have got camouflage pants, both of them wear boots, both of them have got blonde hair, and Lt. Surge in most of his designs also has blue eyes, like Guile. Now speaking of the eyes, Guile kind of doesn't have any eyebrows, and interestingly enough, in a lot of iterations, neither does Lt. Surge, and a few other characters as well, like Giovanni and Cyrus. Now there is one thing that Lt. Surge doesn't have that Guile does, and that's the iconic Rudolph von Stroheim haircut. But there is some more similarities between them other than just visual appearance. Lt. Surge is famously known as the Lightning American, or the Lightning Lieutenant in later games, and he works in the US military, specifically as a pilot. And it just so happens, Guile is a pilot in the US military. Now outside of his iconic haircut, one of the other details that Guile is most known for is his Sonic Boom attack. Now there's a little interesting quirk about Pokemon here, is that Pokemon also has a move called Sonic Boom, and coincidentally, in Generation 1, the only Pokemon that could learn it were the Voltorb line and the Magnemite line, which are all electric types and Lt. Surge has used in the Pokemon series. So is this a coincidence? Possibly, but let's talk about Sonic Booms for a quick second. Sonic Booms in real life aren't actually a physical thing. What a lot of people think is a Sonic Boom is actually a vapor cone. And the idea of a Sonic Boom being a spinning disc was actually popularised, if not created, by Street Fighter 2. And it just so happens, in the Japanese version of Gold and Silver, that Sonic Booms are crescent-shaped, just like Guile's Sonic Boom. Now, it could still be a coincidence, however, in the leaked Generation 1 files, there was an unusual, very strange, blocky sprite. Now, this sprite was actually called Shinjuku Jack, which is actually the name of a famous Virtua Fighter player, who, as you could probably guess from his name, named Jackie Bryant, and it just so happens that this sprite looks like Jackie Bryant as he did in the earlier Virtua Fighters, which means there at least are some people at Game Freak that like fighting games. Now, whenever you take into account that the original Generation 1 Pokemon games were developed between 1990 and 1996, and Street Fighter 2 released around 1992 and 1993, there is a significant overlap between when Street Fighter came out and when Pokemon was being developed, which means there is actually a chance Lt. Surge could have had some inspiration from Guile. However, there is the slight possibility that it's just the blonde-haired, blue-eyed American stereotype that's quite popular in Japan, which means there is actually a solid chance that it's all coincidence and they are just very similar looking characters with similar backstories. Still want to see a Raichu do a flash kick though. Anyway, I've never really done videos of this type before, so if you like this video, don't forget to comment, like, rate and subscribe, and next time I'll actually be doing a video on Sabrina of all characters. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!